So this is my very first sketchbook. When I got the sketchbook, I also got a couple of new pens. So I got a brush pen, I think my first brush pen, and this white felt pen. And so that's, I don't know, I just played with that for the first couple of pages and on random notebooks and things to try and figure out how to use them. This page I ruined with charcoal. I drew out the candlestick and I was like, it's gonna be a girl and she's gonna hold the candlestick. And then I didn't finish it when I first drew it because I wasn't sure how, and then I came back to it and I just ruined it with charcoal, and I didn't understand like how to erase anything or make it look the way that I wanted, so I just abandoned it. There's a couple of pages in here that are sort of like that. They're like half baked, so I would have an idea and I'd sketch it out or start something, I'd draw some shapes, and then just not know where to go with it. Or pages like this where it was a medium I didn't understand. So like later in this book there will be a moon, and I did it with a watercolor pencil, and if you know anything, you can probably tell that this sketchbook is not meant for watercolor because it's computer paper in a lot of ways. Like, that's kind of the texture of this book. It's great for drawing with pen or, with some pencil, but it is not really meant for water of any kind. I just destroyed the page that drawing was on. Is another half-baked idea. Right around this time, I went on a camping trip with my dad. I guess this is kind of a little bit before that. I drew this boy in my class that I grew up with, and as you can see, his nose was a little wonky. This was a little bit better, but still not as nice as I would have wanted it to be. But I was telling myself that I had to draw everything in pen so that then I wasn't so hesitant about drawing. I think this is around the time that I actually was camping with my dad, so there's a lot of these, like the next probably 12 pages I drew out in the woods with my dad and my brother. So a couple of these I removed some pages for my brother to draw on, and there's a little bit of his drawings in here still too. But it's really nice for me to like remember. It's like, oh, this is where I was. This is what I was doing when I was drawing these little sketches. So it's always fun to look back at it and kind of remember my surroundings instead of just, oh, I was at home at my desk. Oh, I was at school. It was an experience that I was drawing during. If you'll notice, there are also a lot of kind of women in this book. Around this time, a lot of women creatures. And this is because I couldn't draw men very well, as this pirate kind of exemplifies. I just had never practiced drawing men. I mostly practiced drawing faces, and I wasn't really even all that good at drawing female figures, but I could draw their faces. That's what mattered. Oh, this is the moon that I was talking about earlier. It's so textured. but a lot of my drawings during this time were very feminine. There's only a couple of masculine sketches, and I really had to try pretty hard to make them look masculine. There is one image that I'll point out to you later that it's supposed to be a man, but it definitely looks like a woman. This is my first attempt at a American traditional style, so just hold on, because on this back page is my second attempt, which is just a little bit better. I did this with these really cool metallic colored pencils that I got from somewhere, and I just really fell in love with them. I really wasn't a very big colored pencil fan, but I really loved drawing these couple of American traditional style sketches. I just love the way the gradients look, and love them. This was a tattoo idea for my dad that I still have not really finished. He wants it to be his first tattoo. This was another boy that I knew, I guess. It's a little lady on a moon. And this was supposed to be a man, but it just looks so feminine still. And in the next sketchbook, I did actually kind of devote some time to sitting down and making myself draw men. And I did get a little bit better, but this was the best man that I drew in this whole sketchbook. Probably, and even still, he's got sparkles. After this, I kind of went through a cartooning phase, so this was my best friend, Joey. It's probably the sketch that I was the most proud of. Right about just before I drew that caricature of him, it was a new semester at school, and him and I were in the same class, and during that class, we sat next to each other and we would pass back and forth this notebook. And in this notebook, we would just doodle something, so normally it was little cartoons, and then we would hand it back to the other person. And I think that was probably the best thing for me. I got quite a bit better at my line work and just kind of expression, bodily expression. A lot of my characters were very straight, I guess, and very, I want to say, linear. They didn't have a whole lot of curve and flow to their shape, and it's still something that I struggle with, but you can kind of tell, I guess, that I got just a little bit better at it. My lines got a little bit more clean, and the shapes in my figures just look so much more natural. These couple pages were kind of self-portraits, I guess. I didn't really look very much like that at the time. Artists, sometimes when they make cartoons of themselves, it's a little bit more like, oh, ideally, this is how I picture myself, instead of, oh, this is how I'm looking in the mirror, and this is what I look like. It's like, no, not exactly. And these are just the last couple pages. This is the last page. It was just a cartoon of a friend that I had. And that's it. So thank you for listening and being here.